Hi everyone, how you doing? I am Clara back and I'm back with another review. This is a bigger box game, but I would say it's a fairly light to medium weight game, and the game itself is WITCHSTONE. So this is a really cool design. It's a game that I really enjoyed. I enjoyed playing it. I think it's a good design, but I'm not going to keep it. So that's a little bit complex. Let's explain why, and yeah, let's just get into it, shall we? So I think that's a bit of a weird thing to say, yeah, I enjoyed it, but I'm not going to keep it. And why is that? Well, basically because I feel like I'm done, and maybe I'm not quite the target audience. So Witchstone for me is a relatively lightweight game. So there's a lot of different actions. You can basically choose which action you're going to take. You have a cauldron area, and in that cauldron you place tiles. You have your own collection of tiles, and from this bag of tiles you have 5 to choose from at a time. You put them down on the cauldron, and depending on what you put into your cauldron gives you the actions that you can do on the main board. But what you can do is you can chain them together. So putting them together on your cauldron is a really cool, interesting puzzle. It's really good fun because you're trying to think, right, okay, I'm going to go heavy into this particular track this game. And so you're trying to place it so that you get you get as many options as possible, as many moves as possible on that one particular track on the main board as possible. So maybe you put down 3 wand actions next to, and then you put another wand action down. So you get to take 4 wand actions that time. So it's really cool, but at the same time, a lot of these actions, I'm saying that you're doing these different actions, but they all tie together, they all work together. So you can't just really concentrate on one. If you're working on the scrolls on the main board, then they power up things that you'd get on the other areas. If you're working on the wand, then that pretty much gives you points for working on all the other areas. And then you've got the connections, and you've got the witches moving around the board. It's an absolutely beautiful looking game. It's really good, and it is quite lightweight. It says 60 to 90 minutes on the box, but to be honest, me and my friend were sort of knocking them out in 30 minutes, 40 minutes, maybe at a push. So I feel like it's fairly lightweight, and I feel like this is a fairly good gateway game because the teach is pretty quick and it's not actually all that complex. Now, like I say, all these different actions, so you're using the tokens that you have to start with, and you're using them to get different actions, and then you add, each time you use a token, you add another one from your bag. You pull them without seeing them first. And so, the game sort of evolves. And like I say, most of the tracks, the board, it all sort of, you've got to do, you can't just work on one area. I would suggest, with one exception, and that is the pentagram area. So the pentagram area, there you're just literally moving around. You're just moving around. And I feel like that relies less on all the other actions. In fact, I'd say it's completely independent. So you might say, well, that's a good choice to go for, but you can't necessarily play that because it depends what you pull out initially. You're kind of at the mercy of what tiles you pull. Now, that's a certain amount of luck. But where this falls down for me is that every single game we've played, so we've played 4 or 5 games of this, and every single game has been won by the person that went heaviest on the pentagram action. And, and again, who's gone for the pentagram action has depended on who's pulled the tiles, but every single time the winner has been on that track. Now, you can't just concentrate on that track, but to me, it feels like it's an awful lot more powerful than any of the other tracks. And once we realized every single game had been won by that track, kind of killed a bit of the fun for me, it sort of made it tricky. This is a beautiful, beautiful looking game, and I really want to play it more. But as soon as we realized that it feels like to us, it felt like one of the tracks was more powerful, then if we weren't pulling those tiles, it's like game over. We're not going to win to some degree. And so this is where I've enjoyed playing it, and the first few games until we sort of really clocked onto that. And then we played a few more just to test that as well, I should say. Until we clocked that, we were enjoying the game. The puzzle on the board, the cauldron area, that is the most fun. That is amazing fun. Though I will say that there are these other actions as well where you get to take crystal actions, but what we've also realised about them is whilst the pentagram seems to be overpowered, the crystals actually seem to be really, really underpowered. It's not actually really worth working hard on them, in our opinion. There was a couple of games where we tried to work on them really hard, and it just... You were taking actions, but you might as well have just taken the initial actions. It wasn't as powerful as we thought it would be. So yeah, I think a more casual gamer probably wouldn't notice that. I think it was a family, more lightweight gamer group. Absolutely. Like I say, this game says it's a 60 to 90 minutes and we're playing it in 30 minutes. So we're probably not playing it at the sort of pace that was sort of designed for this game. But that's maybe because we're slightly heavier gamers. So like I say, it's beautiful, and I think a lot of people will get a real kick out of this. It'd be glorious as a gateway game. Like I say, you can teach it so quickly, but unfortunately, and it's sort of, I'm really, I don't know. I was so torn about this. In fact, I wrote a video and then I completely refilmed another one because, like I say, I'm just not quite the target audience for this game, and I think that there's a lot of people that really, really enjoy this. I do like some lightweight games, and I definitely have those, but this isn't one of them. And I will say that the two designers, like, you know, I have other games of theirs, and I absolutely love them. Reiner Knizia's Blue Moon City is in my top 10 games of all time, and that's probably the same kind of weight. But I don't know, I think with the sort of weight that it is, and then the size of the board, because it's a huge, huge game for what is a smaller game play for us, and then the fact that we kind of think that we know, like, well, we shouldn't bother with this one and we should be playing on this one, we've got to concentrate on this one. We've already broken the game in our game group, you know, so it's not for us. But I think, like I said, I think so many people will really, really enjoy this, and it is absolutely beautiful. Maybe we suffered from playing it too many times in too short a space of time. But now that I've played it, I've enjoyed it, and I feel like I'm ready to move on. And it's not one that I'm going to be pulling out. Like I say, Blue Moon City is a much older game, and I'm going to be pulling that. Or the other designer, I'm going to be pulling out their the Deckscape games above this one, even though they're single use. So yeah, I enjoyed playing it, but I've played it. I think it'd be great for families, for a lighter weight gaming group. Like I say, it's definitely good as a gateway, but it's not quite pushing the buttons for me. I don't know, maybe there's an expansion that could just make this, you know, elevate it and take it to the next level and really bring it in for me. But at the moment, as it stands, I bought it on pre-order. I really wanted to love this game. And like I say, I do like it, but just not quite for me. Alrighty, and with that, thanks so much for watching. I am Clara Barker. It'd be lovely if you could subscribe and stuff like that, and maybe you have comments on this. I don't know. And with that, until next time, take care and bye bye.